Baizhu, a very long time awaited character for many. Now today I kind of want to make a video on our character Baizhu because first of all I'm kind of interested in him. Plus there has been quite a lot of information on Baizhu out there, so I kind of want to discuss his current situation since I know that he is a very expected character for many, including myself. He was first appeared all the way back in the very first patch of the game if my memory serves correctly, and at this point in time he's probably one of the oldest character who was introduced yet weren't playable until pretty much now. Just after they enslaved and some of Alpha 2 Harbinger, especially Rosaline, I really wish that she was a playable character at some point to get to see more of her stories, but unless Genshin Impact do the impossible and decides to revive people who aren't of this world anymore, we're probably never gonna get to see any of the lost character. Now recently we've been starting to get a lot of Dendro characters, so there are more and more choices for Dendro character for you to play. But since Baizhu is coming soon, today I kinda want to have a quick look into Baizhu alongside with our current best Dendro character Nahida. So in this video we'll go through Baizhu's skill and kits as well as look into his potential and see how well he pairs up against Nahida. Now guys, I want to give a huge shout out for today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. They're having an amazing deal for us. There's a link down below with my code SUPERA to get a whopping 83% off plus 3 extra months for free with a 30-day money back guarantee. I've been very happy with this service. Surfshark VPN is the only privacy product that allows unlimited simultaneous devices. Most of them limit you, but not Surfshark. You can have it on your phones, your desktop, as many devices as you want. So Surfshark encrypts your data to keep it safe. It's an extra layer of security for your photos, your videos, all of your personal stuff so no one can see. Also, being a VPN, it swaps the real location of your devices with a new one, or in other words, it's your IP address. This way you can basically virtually travel to any country around the world. It is very easy to use. With a simple click of a button, you're basically there to where you wanna be. If you're an anime lover like me and would love to get access to a giant anime library on Netflix, then you can just simply click to Japan and voila! You now got a lot of anime to watch to your heart content. And what's great for us gamers is that you can now game in full privacy and security that includes big ones like hiding your IP, discords and other chats, and now you don't really have to worry about it anymore. It also even potentially allows you to access gaming servers that weren't available in your countries before. Protection is truly key, guys. I'm sure any of you who have had your Genshin Impact account hacked before can truly understand this. So use my code SUPERA to get an 83% off plus 3 extra months for free. There will be a link down in my description, and if for whatever reason you're unhappy, then again they do have a 30-day money back guarantee, so there's absolutely no risk for you to try out for yourself. Thank you Surfshark again for providing us a very good deal. Now a quick disclaimer guys, all of this information is not an official information regarding Baizhu in any way. We're just looking at pre-release information of Baizhu, however have not confirmed this in any way. There's still over a week left before patch 3.6 livestream come, so take everything we discuss here with a grain of salt since Baizhu can be changed within that amount of time. So regarding Baizu's skill and kit, he has bonus HP from his ascension levels. His normal attack isn't something that we can discuss much because we're almost never going to be using it unless you're having him as a non-field driver. His E skill basically deals Dendro damage up to 3 opponents and then afterward heal your team. However, its scaling is just so low for a 5-star character that you're probably not going to be relying on it to deal damage for the team. His burst creates a Dendro shield and the shield is regenerated once every 2.5 seconds. the shield will heal your characters and attack enemies whenever the shield is broken, regenerated, or its duration ends. So it can be like a bit of Thoma shield, but this time it also heals the team. Baizhu's first passive talent gives him a 20% healing bonus if your active character HP fall below 50%, and if they are above 50%, then Baizhu gains a 25% dendro damage bonus. Baizhu's second passive is pretty nice, providing the character who are healed by his burst a dendro reaction damage bonus. So for each 1000 HP Baizhu possesses that doesn't go over 50k HP, then burning, bloom, hyper bloom, and burgeon reaction damage dealt is increased by 2%, as well as aggravate and spread damage is increased by 0.8%. So from looking at the current skill and kit of Baizhu, we can kind of see some of the pros and cons he's currently having. And for his pros, I would say that the best thing he's doing right now is going to be giving your team a lot of healing within his burst. It's going to be pretty useful. It does provide you a shield like every 2.5 seconds, so that is roughly like 6 tam on the duration of his burst, and it also deals a bit of dendro damage every time it renews, and then whenever the shield breaks or regenerates, your active character will also get healed. The next best thing within his kit is definitely going to be his second passive, where the maximum bonus you're getting is basically at the maximum of 50,000 max HP. So trying to get Baizhu HP over that isn't going to be worth it for you, in which it does give you quite a decent amount of dendro reaction damage increase for the team. Now for Baizhu, I would say that he's going to be quite easy to build as well, because he does have access to a lot of different free-to-play weapons, mainly like the Thrilling Tales of Dragons, the Sacrificial Fragment. He can also use the Wizard if you are planning to give him a bit of damage, and then if you're feeling that you're lacking in healing, then he can definitely use the Prototype Amber. However, the also good thing about Baizhu's weapon is that if you happen to actually get Kokomi's Donut, then Baizhu is actually the very first 5-star character after Kokomi to be able to make use of this weapon pretty well. So for those of you who have a spare donuts out there, you can finally make some good use of it if you decide to pull for Baizhu. Baizhu's artifact sets, you can generally run the Noblesse Oblige set for him to be fully focused on supporting your team of providing more attack, plus a bit of personal burst damage on his side. However, I would say that the Ocean Hued Clam set works for him really well, considering that he is constantly healing your team, so he can make use of this set decently well. However, Baizhu also has a lot of downside that we can see at this point. First of all, the biggest thing is definitely gonna be Dendro AoE application. It's very small from his burst, that from a lot of footages that I have seen, it kind of requires you to be very close to your enemies in order for this to hit. So for example, if you're running Baizhu on a Deep Wood set, you're not going to be able to proc this really well. His Dendro attack is also mostly single targeted as well, so this many of the time will have your team in a bit of troubles if you're seeing a lot of groups of enemies due to the lack of AoE Dendro application. Also, he has almost no personal damage, as you can have seen from the scaling of it, it is really low, yet his kit at passive talent 1 is also providing him a damage boost, which isn't beneficial for him. It would have been a lot better if they kind of like decide to give him more beneficial support for the whole team, but at the very least, any of you who want to have Baizhu on field should be able to make use of this a little bit. His burst energy cost is also a problem of it having an 80 energy, while also the burst cooldown is 20 seconds while the uptime is only 14, therefore there's going to be a 6-second cooldown, and that is quite long, and it will require your team rotation management to be done properly. Therefore, overall, he's going to be a character that loves to have a lot of HP built into him so that you can make use of his second passive. However, he requires a lot of energy recharge as well, so many of the time I would say you have to manage between both of these stats in order for him to run properly. So from all of the things that we have analyzed above, here's what I think about Baizhu's potential. Is that first of all, he's technically looked at as a healer, a shielder, and a bit of a buffer for your team. However, currently what he does best is only would be to heal your team since he will be overhealing for you most of the time. Yet this is probably the least important part for the team, as there are so many good healers at this point, not to mention Yao Yao, who is a 4-star character with very good healing and dendro application, and that's where his biggest weaknesses comes in currently from our pre-release information, is that he may have a lot of trouble applying dendro for the team since it's lacking so much AoE, and elemental application is one of the most important parts of any supporter in a team. If you're missing this, then you are in quite a bit of a trouble. He also provides you with a shield, but considering how much Baizhu is healing your team, needing a shield isn't that much of an importance. The good part about his kit right now is at the very least he has access to a second passive that boosts your team dendro reaction damage. I swear if he didn't have this, he'd be worse than most characters at this point, let alone 5-star characters comparison. But that's not to say that he's a bad character, you know, like Dia, who's just completely hard to use. Baizhu will still be able to see some potential from his kit since he's good with healing and buffing your team. In terms of dendro application, there's a bit more time before his official release, so let's hope that Hoyoverse may patch him up somewhere until then. So technically from what we can see right now, he will be able to be in any dendro reaction team since he's a dendro healer with decent elemental support. So teams like Sino, Hyper Bloom, or especially Nilu Bloom teams are some teams that can take good benefits from Baizhu. Now to our lovely Nahida, there have been a lot of speculation that Nahida would be back in patch 3.6, and I myself would say that is very true considering that is kind of like a pattern for all of the Archons within every single patch. They do usually get their rerun banner around this patch, so 3.6 is a very highly likely patch for Nahida to rerun, and considering we know how good of a character she is, many of us who have missed her last time would really love to see her again. So to discuss a little bit about Nahida, let's just quickly go over her pros and cons so that you kind of have in mind how Nahida performs. First of all is that Nahida is able to apply a lot of dendro. She's certainly the best character when it comes to dendro application in the game until now, and considering that she's also a catalyst user, that just help her having a lot more access to dendro elements, especially when you're having her as an on-field driver. Not to mention she has really good personal damage, for she is a sub DPS character, making her very valuable. When it comes to her E skill Tri-Karma Purification, it doesn't just have very good AoE coverage because it does cover so many enemies on the field, up to 8 if you are running in a group situation. Building her correctly and you will see very high number dealt by Nahida herself. Her elemental burst cost is very cheap as well for how much it actually does. It only costs you 50 energy, so technically speaking you're going to be having her burst up every rotation. Backing that up for her burst is going to be her passive talent 1, where she gives up to 250 EM elemental mastery for your active character if you max out her EM at 1000 EM. So not only is she able to do very good sub DPS damage for her own, but she is supporting your team to do even higher reaction damage altogether. And since she is best as a sub DPS character, she can basically be in any single team and she will perform well, making her a very flexible character to slot into different team composition. When it comes to Nahida downside, seriously guys, I don't really have anything major to talk about because I myself have been constantly using Nahida and there is absolutely no issue coming from her. As long as you're taking the time to invest into maxing out your Nahida as much as possible, she will do absolutely fantastic for your every single team. And so with all of those analysis, we move on to our next session of answering who should you consider. Is it Baizhu versus Nahida? Now seriously guys, speaking about these questions has always been one of the toughest in Genshin Impact to talk about because it really largely depends on your account and your personal preference. There's so much to talk about between meta and casual players since each preference from these two types other players are so different. But either way, my honest opinion would always to be that since Genshin Impact is such an easy game at this point, it's better to go with the character that you will enjoy playing more than focusing everything onto maximizing damage. However, playing casual guys doesn't also mean that we always accept holdovers to trash on a character like the decent trend, especially character like Dia, Mika, and possibly even Baizhu now, as these are the characters that many have been waiting for. At the very least, holdovers should be responsible for putting out a character that is at least be functional, not just downright bad and very hard to use. So we really do hope that Baizhu, for many of you fans out there, will be able to get him fixed up here and there, since it is not yet his official release. But either way, when it comes to Nahida or Baizhu, in terms of performance wise, it is a clear win for Nahida. If you haven't got her on your account, you should always prioritize getting Nahida. The only thing Baizhu is better is his healing, so technically these two characters can be on the same team if you have the ability to pull for both. However, if you're someone who loves Baizhu, then I do suggest you try and get him in this banner, since considering how good Nahida is, and she is an Archon guys, they have the tendency to have more rerun banners. As for Baizhu, I would say that there's a good chance he won't be coming back in like a year or so, as it has happened for many characters out there. So for that, good luck with your future pull guys. And so that's all I have to say regarding Baizhu versus Nahida at this point in time. There will be so many more videos to come as patch 3.6 livestream is right around the corner. I believe it should be in next weekend. So if you're new to the channel guys, be sure to subscribe to my channel to not miss out on my future Genshin Impact video, especially up on our patch 3.6. I hope that you have enjoyed the video, and if you're someone who just got Mika and is wondering what his best teams are going to be, I have a very dedicated on Mika's team, so be sure to click on the video on screen right now. Really appreciate you guys sticking with me till this part of the video guys, and with that I wish you a super day and I will catch you on my next video.